at the weigh-in, there was the rope outfit. This was divine. Tell me a little bit more about this.
Yeah, so actually, I had messaged my friend Vice Erotica. She's one of my sponsors.
Mhm.
And I was like, what about a rope outfit? Because I was thinking about doing body tape, but that's not really my speed. Like, I kind of like, I'm known in my work that like I do damsel work. Like, I'm a very good like switch. I can be dom or submissive. So I get tied up a lot. And I did
Mhm.
a whole calendar for this year that was bondage and, lots of rope, lots of crazy things. And so I was like, let's just tie it all together. So we reached out to Very Bad Boy Scout. That is my tire. He's done a lot of stuff for me. And yeah, so he came over, started building the piece on me, and then came back the next day because I was feature dancing in San Diego. So he did this all like the weekend before. And he zip tied it to where when we got to the hotel, Ashley could just do a couple simple things and like keep it together. But it was so crazy.
It's so cool as well, and it kind of did really represent you, and it spoke to you in a very unique way.
Yeah.
Because you, like you said, you do use a lot of rope bondage, but there is a difference because what I've found, rope bondage looked great on Tumblr, and then when you try
Yeah.
it, you're like, holy shit, this is a lot of work, and I'm bad at tying ropes apparently, but it looks awesome in photos. So like in an intimate setting, this is something you talked about. I think it was with Alexis Texas. You were saying
Yeah.
like, I like this, but I would like to try it in an intimate setting. Is this something that translates over?
Yeah, it's something I think that like okay, so like this job is a lot of exploring yourself and like
Mm.
exploring new ideas because half the time, when we're working on a mainstream like porn set, we're gonna be going there and they're gonna tell us what the idea is. Now we have like this OnlyFans, so we are able to create our own ideas, and I think like with that comes like discovering new things that you might be interested in. Um, Maybe you're bored of something else and like you want something new, and so like you get to try anything. So yeah, I definitely think that it correlates into regular regular life
Mhm.
because like I think it's like when you're trying a new food, like you're either gonna like it or you're gonna like hate it. So
Yeah.
sometimes you
Oh,
love
yeah.
it.
Sometimes you love it, and sometimes you're like, ah, it's okay. I'm not really into it. But to each their own. And it's important to try these things as well. It's so much funner.
Yeah,
And just like
definitely.
you were trying fighting a second ago, or just last week. Sorry. Go ahead there. I interrupted you. Please go ahead.
No, 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 you didn't. I was done.
Oh, perfect. So trying new thing, got in the boxing ring, 16-ounce gloves for some reason, which was a weird choice, but you won. And then how was that post-fight euphoria?
Yeah, that was not my choice. My contract said 8-ounce gloves.
Yeah.
At first, they called and told me, well, emailed us and said, "Oh, we're gonna have to wear headgear," and I was furious. I was like, "No, like this is gonna be the first card ever on Misfits history to have to wear headgear. We're gonna look like clowns. People already talking so much shit because she posts like the worst quality content of herself, and that's what it boiled down to. Like the Florida Boxing Commission wouldn't improve because of the content she had been posting." And she has a friend in the boxing commission, so I guess she like reached out to him and got them to change it to where okay, we don't have to wear headgear, but we have to wear 16-ounce gloves. And like I had got custom made gloves like made from Shadow Fight Goods like in 8-ounce size and like my colors, like I had to get 4 pairs of those. So it's just like all the things that I was training for and I was ready and I was prepared, and then she wasn't. So I mean, thank God we didn't have to wear headgear.
Yeah.
But it was a joke. Like the fight didn't count towards any real pro like record because of the glove size. Um, yeah, I mean they gave Amber a 3-fight contract. So like after my win, you want to say like my true feelings were like kind of like upset because the whole
Really?
weekend, yeah, the whole weekend you could tell that like they Misfits had Amber picked to win by like 70 something percent. Okay. And they kept asking me questions like, how do you feel about her experience in the combat world? I'm like, she has no experience in the combat world. She's been a ring girl. That's not the same. Like, I've wrestled and I've fought my whole life. That is experience in combat sports, right? So it's like, what numbers gave that? Okay, then Amber got a 3-fight contract. I did not. I got a 1-fight contract. So I feel like they were bringing me in to like be kind of like a can man type of vibe. Like that's what my head was like. Oh, these people really have been shitting on me this whole time. Now it's like, oh, we're so proud of you. Like, I've been close with Mams a while, so he's always been respectful and cool. But it was kind of like he said, like, I'm gonna do big things for you. Like we're gonna do big things together. But it was kind of like, well, I don't really, now that I think about it, I was like, I don't really think that y'all wanted to do big things with me. You know what I mean? Like, I thought, like, so, like, you know, I still haven't got paid. I don't know how long that usually takes. So, yeah, that's kind of annoying because I was like living in Colorado for a whole month of training. Like, I have 3 coaches, you know, so it's just like,
What the
I mean,
fuck?
it said like 7 to like 30 business days, and it's like, why would it take up to 30 business days for a wire? You know, I don't know.
It's a wire transfer. They take 8 seconds to send.
I know, and that's why I'm so impatient. And I'm like, oh my god, like I've been trying to enjoy the win, but it's like the whole time, like people were talking shit about me whenever I was walking into the ring. The commentators were all on Amber's side, like saying like weird shit, and like, you know, she kept saying dumb stuff. Like in her interview, she was like, it's win or die for me. That's what she said. I'm like, what? Like, that's a bold statement. You're still alive, first of all. What character were you playing? You know what I mean? Like how she was looking at me when we were about to fight. She was like doing all this like crazy stuff. I almost spit my mouthpiece out by laughing because I was just like, she has no idea what's about to happen. Like my coaches were like telling me like stop letting her breathe, but it's like I just was like the only one engaging. I was kind of like thrown off by that. I was like, I'm not gonna throw more than 4 punches, like because at the beginning I was like, okay, I kind of got excited and I was like, and I was like, no, I need to pull it back, you know, calm down. And then even whenever I did that, the commentator's like, yeah, Leah's moving a lot slower now, and I was like, what? Because my coach told me to calm down.
Yeah, what the heck is this? And also, so I've done amateur boxing fights in 16-ounce gloves. They're heavy as shit. We were only doing 6-minute bouts because I was a young guy at the time.
Yeah, it was
but holy crap, they're heavy. Doing a 4-punch combination in 16-ounce gloves, amazing that you did that, honestly.
And it's so crazy. It's like whenever I finished the fight, I wasn't even really sweating yet. So I was like, damn, like this just feels like I just trained so hard. Like that's what it felt like. I trained so hard. I took this serious as fuck for it to just be like the worst sparring match I've ever had. Like, because like I'm sparring girls who like are actual fighters. So like they're not treating me like a princess. They're fucking me up. They're giving me bloody noses. They're giving me black eyes. They're punching me to where I'm falling on the ground thinking I'm dying, like in the stomach. You know, like they're not like, oh, let me just shoulder check you and like tech spar. No, they're fucking me up. And so it was like when she hit me like in the first round, I was like, is this for real right now?
You joking me? Hit me.
Yeah,
you know?
I was like, I don't even have to block this shit. Like I can just throw like crazy if I really want to, because this is not going to hurt. Like this is not going to get any damage to me. And yeah, that was just wild. It was just like such a weird thing. And then I noticed a lot of things about the whole fight, like while I was there, that were kind of like, what the fuck is this? How is this happening?
What happened? What was going on?
I mean, like the weigh-ins and stuff like that was kind of weird. Like I don't know. I just thought that like if people were ever over, like things would be handled different ways. And then I like after my fight, like I saw that like people had been using steroids and stuff like that, like being exposed for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's what the heck? Like I asked for drug testing, like because I thought that you could do that. I'm like, can we make it mandatory, like where we both have to take a drug test, like for like steroids and all types of stuff. But that didn't happen. So I'm like, I don't know how they're like regulating like who is doing that and who's not. I mean, it was obviously my opponent was not.
That's right. That's the thing. Yeah.
But I'm just like, oh man, like one of my friends, Minicon, he had fought like this guy, and he was trying to tell everybody that like the guy was juicing. And then that's the article that just came out, like saying that he actually was like. So now that whole fight that he did is like no contest or whatever.
See, and that's the thing of like, you know a lot about drug testing because you had been. It was a wrestling scholarship in folk style wrestling, and you would have been tested frequently in that.
It's like, I mean, like I just walked on, so it was just like I went and tried out, and then like I came there, you know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, throughout high school and all the way through that, you know, like you can't do certain things because you might get a random drug test at any moment. In high school, I was picked every time for random drug tests, so I just like was always very careful about that, like not doing anything that could get me in trouble or like risk me, you know, not being able to play sports. So yeah I feel like like there's just things that make me feel like, okay, well, am I always going to be safe? Because it's like right after this fight, this girl was trying to get me to come fight her in Dublin. And that's like this weekend, and she wanted me to fight her at like 112 or one something like that. And I'm like, well, hold on, I just cut to 120, just fought, had a fight camp. I don't even have time to prepare for this. And you want me to fly overseas and fight? It's like, no, like now I'm like, okay, like I'm not fighting right away. Like if I'm gonna fight, I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna give my body time to, get it together. Like I'm training for a half marathon right now for like just to keep my cardio, and then take it easy on my body. Eat whatever I want.
Not cut weight. I imagine cutting weight in wrestling is the worst, isn't it?
It's the worst. Like, no, this was worse because I was on my period.
That doesn't help. That makes it so much worse.
Yeah, that's never happened to me before. And so my body, whenever I left, I was already at 121, right? Then I started my period, and then the very next day I was at 126. So I had to basically start all the way over. So yeah, I was good, but thankfully my coach is like not dumb. He doesn't have me like in a sauna suit running on a treadmill, to cut the weight. Just a typical alcohol bath burrito combo, and got me right. I mean, I weighed at 119.0, so
just right on the money. Oh God! But you wanted to do a 2-on-2 next, or are you going to take the fight elsewhere? Are you still going to work with Misfits?
I mean, like a lot of different fight promotions have been asking if I would be down to fight. I'm down to try a different style of fighting. If somebody wants to do it, like I'm down, but they obviously have to give me time to train properly. I'm not gonna just be like, yeah, I'll do an MMA fight right now. Yeah. What? Like, no, I need to get back in the gym, like practice single legs, double legs, like all types of shit, like the basics, and like get my function right. Like it's like, doing one sport and training for that's another thing. And then obviously I'm good at like learning how to do any kind of mechanics in a sport. Like I've always played multiple sports, but I feel like when you're competing at this level, like you have to make sure that you're on point, because who knows, Amber could have came out there and been like a fucking ninja. Like maybe she'd been boxing ever since she was a little girl and like really fucked me up.
We don't know. Exactly.
So it's just like training to fight anybody. Like I know like all these promotions are reaching out, but it's like, okay, well, who will my opponent be? Because like a lot of people might want to just like make a mockery of me, or like try and get me hurt, or like for the views and like types of stuff like that. So also like reading that, feeling that energy out, and like kind of like, okay,
But also you, with experience in the past, you are not a person to be fucked around by agents and promoters. Like that is somewhere that you've had some experience, right?
Yeah, like I don't play. It's like that's why it's like I'm like a ticking time bomb sometimes. Like I'm really chill, but like I start to get irritated, and like if I feel like I'm being like used. So it's like, okay, I'm happy, I'm cool, but I'm still like ticking away, because it's like, okay, well, I haven't got paid yet. I haven't like got to pay my coaches yet. Like everybody's pressure is on me, and it's like, okay, I've done everything that I was supposed to do. So I'm slowly starting to get irritated, but that's the same thing in any kind of part of my life. It's like, okay, cool. I start at 100 and then slowly start taking shit away. And then like once I reach a certain point, it's like all bets are off. Like you think that you're going to fuck with me. You're not. I'll fuck up everything.
No, and it's so hard of like, I think especially when you work in a social media or a very public space where you're offering yourself, it is hard to find the line of, oh, now I need to start defending myself. But when you find that line, it's usually too late. We should have been defending ourselves way over here, right? Why did we wait till 0? We should have been at 50 defending ourselves. You know what I'm saying here?
And then sometimes you once you start feeling like you can defend yourself, you start going overboard. Like that happened to me. It's like for a long time, I would let shit slide that shouldn't be sliding. Certain things I would react really fast to, and certain things I would like kind of let build up. And then it's like, okay, once you're like reached that level of, oh, fuck no, then sometimes when somebody might do something, it might be so small and you're going to be like on 1,010. So like disciplining that part of yourself, that fire, that's also pretty challenging. But I think overall it's like very beneficial, like kind of like behavioral trait to have, because you have to be able to get angry You know, like I think at the beginning of my boxing training, even wrestling training, I would be like timid, right? And it would take until like somebody like slam me or punch me hard enough to make me be able to get aggressive with them. So it's like, oh, we're just chilling right now. We're just taking it easy. And it's like, boom. And you're like, okay, it's on.
Here we go.
You want this?
But you know what I've noticed as well, and maybe you've noticed this as well, but being a male, I don't have to fight. Well, that's wrong. But like, I think being a female, it's twice as hard to have your voice heard or be respected by someone who's a promoter or an agent. Because I've had situations at work, and maybe I shouldn't talk about this out loud, but I've sworn at my managers and I've been like, dude, fuck you for doing that. And he was like, Tim, you're right. But he was like, Tim, you're right. And then he talked to a female coworker of mine and he told her that she was being passive aggressive. And I was like, I was being aggressive with you. But like you said, you have to do that. And you have to work twice as hard as a woman, right?
Yeah, you do. Like, even like whenever I took a break from adult work, because I started when I was 18, I had worked regular jobs and was used to kind of like when you're in this field, you're like your own boss in a way. Yep. Being able to speak my opinion and stuff like that. So it's like whenever I went back to regular jobs, if somebody like was being disrespectful, I don't care if I'm like was notorious, I'll quit right then and there. I will leave you with this whole shit. Like, goodbye. I don't give a fuck. I've never put in a 2 weeks notice. If I didn't like it, I just quit. And if they said some shit to me, I'm like, dude, fuck you. Like, you have, like, good luck. I'm out. Like, that's why sometimes I'm like, look, my sisters, like, they work normal jobs, and it's like, they tell me some of the shit they have to put up with from, like, their job, their managers and shit. I'm like, Like, one time I called my sister's corporate, and I was like, do you know that, like, this is happening? Like,
I bet you got her in trouble. That probably wasn't cool, right?
Yeah, no, they launched an investigation, that person, yeah. And it was just like, shit goes on in regular jobs, and like, I would never, now that I've had this kind of freedom and I get to do what I want, like I have my OF and I have like all the things that make me able to just kind of be at home and like just do social media. I could never go back in a space where it's like somebody's telling me like what to do or like reacting to me in a disrespectful way. Like, funny thing, even with boxing, like my coach had said something and I had heard it on film because I didn't hear it like when I was sparring, and I got so upset. I was like, why did you say that? Because he was like, oh, she's bullshitting in there. And I was like, what? Because he was like trying to tell my sparring partner to do it again, because I was like being kind of like, he said like not trying hard enough, like whenever I was doing it. And at the time I was like, no, I was trying hard. You know what I mean? And then he like had to like bring me down. He's like, look, like, that's not even the worst that I could say. Like, I'm your coach. I'm going to have to say certain things to you like this and certain things to your teammates to make you the best fighter. That's my job. That's what you hired me to do. So it's like, even those kind of situations, you're like, oh, okay, is this okay? Or is this not okay? Do I like this, or is this helping me? Or am I being sensitive? You know, like girls, I feel like are super sensitive, where a guy, you could be like, you're fighting like shit, like get your shit together and nothing will happen. You'll just do better. But like, I might be on my period or something and I just might fucking cry. It's like, I'm trying so hard.
No, I'm super sensitive too. Like, man, your 1-2 looks like garbage. I'd be like, bro, I'm trying my best here, dude.
What am I gonna do?
So speaking of training for a half marathon, I had found the GXX and Leah Gotti sex tape playlist. Now, this is a marathon unto itself. This is a 9-hour sex playlist. Is this part of the
you can keep it playing, like when you go back throughout the week, you don't have to hear the same song. So just keep it paused, and then when you're back in action, press play.
9 hours. Yeah, I guess it's throughout the week. So that's not one go, is what I'm understanding.
No, I mean, it just depends. Like, you could start the playlist like while you're cooking dinner, and then like while you're eating dinner, when you're making dessert, when you're doing the dishes, like lead up into it. Maybe it might take an all day affair. You're watching a football game, making snacks, getting a little lap dance on a commercial break, you know, eating some chicken wings, watching some football, you know, maybe you go outside.
You're getting hot sauce on your fingers. I don't know about chicken wings.
Lick it off essentially.
Oh, look at this.
Tell them like, you don't need a napkin, baby.
Oh my God. Are you into food play? Is that something? Or are you just now like, I want to try this in an intimate setting?
No, actually, I love food.
Okay.
Like, I literally love food. So, like, I will, yeah, like the other day I was joking to my husband and I was like, I want to pour barbecue sauce on your dick and lick it off.
And what did he say?
He's like, I want to pour barbecue sauce on you and lick it off.
You too.
It's like, damn, I want to do it, but I know I'll probably fuck my pH balance up really bad. It's like, is it worth it?
No.
Let's just eat it and then fuck.
So it's great being in such a supportive relationship, but it's so funny that like being in bad relationships and when you get into a good relationship, it's so effortless. And you're like, holy crap, I was working so hard for crappy people in my life. This is so much better. It's so much easier. Like, what message do you have for people out there who maybe aren't in a comfortable position in the relationship?
Who aren't in a comfortable relationship?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, I mean, you need to think about like what's important, because I think in every kind of relationship there's going to be some uncomfortable situations. Like, uncomfortability brings growth. But at what point is your uncomfortability like neglect or like just not serving you the way that you need it to? So like then you're going to be like getting sad and shit. So it's like, okay, you can love somebody a lot, and if you love them, then you should love them enough to tell them what they need to do to help you stay in love with them. Like, that doesn't mean like I've stopped being friends with people because of how they behaved in relationships. Like, for example, I have a friend who's married, or ex-friend who's married, and she's slept with a coworker who's also married with kids multiple times, but she'll never tell her husband. And he'll never get the choice to be, okay, I want to work through this, or I want to know what I need to do to be better, because he'll just never know, because she'll never tell him. To me, that's so fucked up. Like, my relationship is based off of communication. I've been in a lot of relationships where I didn't say what I felt. I just kind of did what they wanted me to, like, wore the clothes they wanted me to, wore the perfume they wanted me to, like, ate what they wanted me to. Now, in my relationship that I'm in, my marriage, when we first started dating, I just forced those conversations. Like, I know that might sound fucked up, but it's like, no, we're going to have this. Like, if you think you're satisfying me in this way, you're not. I don't like this. And maybe I was like, the first few times it was not said correctly. Like, I didn't say it in a calm way. So that's also important. Like, when you're going to bring up these things, don't berate someone and be like angry. Like, you haven't been doing this and now I feel like this. So what are you going to do about it? Because they're going to be like closing off. And then that's going to frustrate you too. I don't know if you're like me, but that frustrates me. So even like using a journal, like my husband and I, for a while, we went through 2 journals. You write what you want to say, what you need to say, some compliments, and you might put in there something that you need to be different or whatever, and finish it off with something nice too. But if you try to do something as small as a journal and your partner rejects that, then reject that motherfucker, okay?
Yes.
If you can't have a conversation where you're like, hey, I have been feeling like X, Y, and Z because of this, I think. And you don't even have to say it's because of you. It could be like, because of these things that have been happening, I've been assuming something. Like, you don't have to put the blame on somebody, but you can just be like, I think that this will help me, and tell them. And if they reject that, reject them. Because, like, if you say it real, if you say it honest, like, yeah, like, you have to judge, like, okay, take into consideration things that they're going through, but don't fucking like make 1,000 excuses for them. You know, also look at what you've been doing, because we're not all perfect. Maybe you've been doing something that annoys them like every day and you haven't realized it, so they're not in the best mood. Who knows? Something at work could be happening. You know, they could have got a fucking hurt their body part and they can't do something anymore. You never know.
So, we've all been there. We've all tore our vaginas, haven't we?
Yeah. Tore your vagina, tore your ACL, popped out your shoulder. All those things fucking suck.
Yes. But relationships are not effortless. But when you go into and say, here's what my needs are, your partner should be receptive, right? And sometimes it is how we
do those things. Exactly. Like, even if you have to tell them, like, hey, I want flowers. And like, after you told them and they bring you flowers like multiple times, okay, that's cool. What are you going to do for them now? Like, it's like, I try to make sure, like, in my relationship, that I'm treating my relationship like the stuff that I see online that I like. I mean, that's not like a thing to like judge it off of, but I didn't have good relationships to look at whenever I was younger. So I've always based mine off of like movies and like content that I've consumed. And I like that. That's how I want my relationship to be. I want to shower my partner with affection. I want to shower my partner with gifts and like things that I can do for him, and like paying attention to certain things, and like remembering important dates to him, remembering important names and topics that he wants to talk about. And if he says that he wants something, remembering that and getting that thing. And I want the same thing. And if I don't get that, that's bad. Like, and that's just how I've always thought. So it's like, okay, maybe I never thought about this, but maybe I see a date idea and I'm like, okay, we're going to do this. Like, this is so romantic, you know? Keep it spicy, nice. Keep it fun. Like, don't just get into the groove of like doing the same fucking thing every night. Like, don't get into the groove of just because you have kids, like not making intimate time, because like I have 2 kids, like it's hard to get jiggy with it, like in a romantic way. Sometimes you might have to just be like, okay, the kids are taking a nap and like we have like 5 minutes max, like
no problem.
Meet me in the laundry room, or like, you know, whatever. Just find a random place and just do it. Like, just make some time, or watch a show when everybody goes to sleep. You know, I get pissed off when my man falls asleep though. So yeah. I'm like, wake up.
The kids are asleep. Wake up.
Yeah. I'm like, the time is now.
So I had one of my friend's mothers wrote a book about 6-minute intimacy, and she was saying like in old age it is hard to find time to be intimate, and she was like, here's my 6-minute process of no matter where I am with my husband, I can have sex with him in 6 minutes. Isn't this genius?
I love this. I need this book. I swear I need this book.
So I was talking to, like, it's her daughter, and she's like, I've never read it, but my mom did write it if you want to check it out. But I'm going to have to buy it and check it out. Because, like, maybe intimacy isn't important for every relationship, but for those that is. Okay, go on. Tell me more.
It is important. And I think that people who don't make it important, like, all over the world, right? Women are treated differently. Okay, yes. That's very apparent. There's lots of cultures where women are not even taken into account. Like, they have to lay down at certain times of the week for whatever they have to be put through, and none of it is for pleasure for them. It's for pleasure for their partner or for whoever it is that's taking it. So it's like, when we neglect ourselves from being able to feel good and like doing things like with our body, like, you know, I feel like it has a bigger impact on people, like, so like in their brain, like mentally, than we take into account, right? I've seen people in relationships who like don't even kiss their partners like goodbye. They don't even they don't even tell each other they love them. Like, I've heard people tell me like they don't even believe in love. It's like all those things. It's like, okay, I mean, you are completely closed off to something that's so amazing. And I think that intimacy is really important. I think once people start getting intimacy, even animals, like when you see a neglected dog, like abused dog, and how it's scared of everything, closed off, wants to be alone, might be aggressive, whatever. Once you slowly start petting it and like giving it treats and like nurturing it and making it feel good and like giving the dog intimacy, because that is what you're doing. Like, there's different forms of intimacy. So like leveling up in intimacy with your partner is like, that's what marriage is for. It like should always be increasing. Like, I would be so sad if I was with my husband and like I was starting to like not like him, and like I would never be with someone who I could start like not liking. Like, that's why I married him. It's like, okay, he can do whatever he wants, to be honest, and I'll probably be like, okay, we can work through this. Well, like, honestly, he can't. Like, I do not believe like for divorce. Like, you're gonna have to do some foul shit for me to want to divorce you. Because I mean, like, I don't even know if I could. Like, that's one part about me is like I have been raised very religious all the time.
You were like was it Baptist, was it?
Yeah, super Baptist. I still am very religious, but I read from like the Bible, and I also listen to like Catholic masses now. And I just feel like certain ways about certain things, but I still have faith and stuff like that. So it's like, I believe that like marriage to me is not a piece of paper. Marriage to me is like legit. Like, I said, till death. And I mean, like, you better not marry a new bitch when I die. You still married to me till you die. Like,
I'm going to haunt you.
Yeah, like anytime you try and get jiggy with it, there I am. Scratching on the walls, making it smell like death.
But no, you did say something that I love, that what you were saying there of power dynamics in sex is a big deal. And I want sex for women to be empowering for women, but I feel like that is something that's extremely lacking, maybe culturally or in people's marriages. But I think I'm not wrong in saying that there's a power dynamic in sex, and it's very vulnerable, and you can feel very weak, right?
Yeah, I think so. Like you're letting somebody you're letting somebody have you. Like
Yeah.
it is extremely vulnerable. It's the closest thing that you can get to being someone else. Like you're like in them, like you're connecting in the moment. It's to create life. Like so it's powerful. Like it's been like now people do it for not to create life, but I mean like I guess
Yeah.
they're practicing or something. But it's like it's really powerful. It's really vulnerable. That's like basically what we're designed to do is have sex, eat, and like live. So yeah, I mean like the power dynamic should be about both parties. Like if not, then it's like really gross. Like that's just like the R word.
Do you still have time for me, or do you got to wrap up?
Yeah.
Oh, this is awesome. See, and you're like certain things, like you are going over questions through your answers, and I'm like, I'm running out of things to ask because you are talking about so many things. But one of the things that you and I had talked about ahead of time is that one of the problems that I had when I was just like a younger man, and I find all men my age have struggled with porn issues. And
Yeah.
I've asked men, like, do you struggle or have you struggled with porn? And they say like not enjoyment, not participating, but struggled. So like is the right line for having healthy porn habits for people?
Okay. We'll have to take a sip of water because it's about to get intense.
Here we go. We're going. So neither of us know.
Yeah. I mean, porn is not allowed in my marriage.
Okay.
We do not masturbate like outside of each other. Like I do for film, like in camera and stuff like that. But like my husband doesn't watch porn. If he's masturbating, like it's like we're doing FaceTime sex together, like on the phone. We just save our sexual energy for each other. And that's what I think is really important. Like if you're a single, by all means, do whatever you want to do and consume it. You know what I mean? But in moderation, you shouldn't be doing it like 5 times a day. Like it should be like a once a day or maybe 2 times a day if you're feeling crazy, but like shouldn't be like a lot. Because your brain, it does affect your brain. Like when you're watching certain things and like fantasizing about certain things, you're creating memories in your brain. And you're creating those memories with reactions from your body, which are really powerful. So sexual energy, it should be like well, in my opinion, and everybody has their life different, but in my opinion, it should just be what is between you and your partner. So me and my husband, we are very clear about what we want and how we want it. And like, I am a very dominant person in general, but my husband does not like dominance in sex. So I'm extremely submissive in that way. But I'm also very dominant in how I speak in my relationship to him, like outside of the bedroom. Like, no, like, you know, this is what I want. This is not happening. Like, you know what I mean? Because of this, you know? So like setting boundaries, respecting the boundaries and understanding them is really important. Like obviously if you have a wife, and like this happened one time in the beginning of our relationship before we set these clear boundaries. He jacked off in bed beside me while I was right there to our porn that we had made together. Okay. But I was like, why? I was like, why wouldn't you just wake me up with dick? Like, and like, fuck me. Like, I am right here. Like, why would you want to fuck yourself when you have me? Like, I think that's also a thing. Like, he's my man. Like, when I'm with a man, like, I want to be used by you. I want you to fulfill those wants and fantasies and needs, like, through my body. Like, I can do anything you see on porn. So if you need that, just let me know. And that's how I feel. It's like, okay. So I had to tell him, I'm like, dude, I'm horny too. So you just fucked yourself and came, and now I can't have dick because you just jacked off. Like, you just wasted all of that energy when you could have been banging me out for real, making a new video or something, you know? And so after we had those kind of conversations, it's like, okay, boom. And then we had sex a lot more. We have sex a lot more because guess what? When we're horny, we're telling each other like, da, 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 da. And maybe I might just give him head. Maybe I might just give him a hand job. Maybe I might do everything, you know, whatever he wants or whatever I want. Maybe he might just use a toy on me and make me come if he's like, you know, tired or doesn't feel good, but that's never really the case. But let's maybe like he comes too fast, he'll still finish me. Like those types of things are like important. Like every time we're having sex, we're making sure both people are coming. We're making sure both people are satisfied. You know, sometimes I can't come. Like maybe I put my vibrator on too high and it like overstimulated and made me like freak out. But I still will enjoy it. It still felt good. So like if he might have a question like, well, why didn't you come? I'm like, oh, this happened. So then explaining to your partner how your body works, like what different things are doing to it. And then like you'll never run out of sex. Like you'll never need porn. Like maybe you might want to watch porn together one time, you know, but damn, like don't pick a like something that's going to be like, you need to talk about what you like first. Don't just be like the one person taking control and putting on something and this, your partner might be like, whoa, this is what you're into. Like, you know, you might have to have weird conversations. Like, that's why I'm just like, porn should be a solo, in my opinion, if you're single. Or if you are in a relationship where y'all are like in an open relationship and you don't care about that, then that's for you. I'm like super monogamous. So it's like no sex for pleasure for me outside of my marriage. Like I don't have threesomes with my man. I don't share my man. He doesn't share me. If he wanted to have a threesome or if he wanted to share me, we would have talked about that before and that would have been able to be implemented into our relationship. But now I feel like I'm in a place where I'm like, no, I don't want that. I'm not into that. And some people do like that, but for me, I've just felt like that doesn't work. I've been in all types of relationships. I feel like when you're spreading yourself out too thin, like your energy's thin, like you're doing other things that aren't really, I don't know, it's just a lot. Like, so I feel like a lot of people in my industry have a different view on that. Like, they might be like, oh, fuck who you want, watch porn as much as you want.
And for them, maybe that's okay,
yeah.
you know.
Act on every impulse. If you know, like if you want to be if you want to just be completely and utterly like free, and that's your version of free, then yeah, so fucking be it. But for Leah, for me, I'm like, no, like you cannot have me. Like I am so special. It's like, like I've been there and I did it when I was 18. Like it was 6 months of my life. But I haven't shot board girl porn like since I was 18. I'm 28 now. I'm like 28 now. I'll be 28 this year. And it's just like I've only been with one guy for the last 4 to 5 years. So it's like that's what's important to me. And like what has worked for my relationship may not work for somebody else's relationship, but you know, I promise when you take out anything that distracts you from what's in front of you, everything else kind of goes away. Like you stop having like all these weird expectations for each other. You stop like comparing yourselves to others, you know, you just talk and have fun and you just laugh and you just be weird. Like your partner should be the person that you can be the weirdest with, the person that you can be the craziest with, like just weird. Like weird, like your 11-year-old self. Like
I love that. And it reminds me so much of like Kanye West and Kim Kardashian. He'll go on tour, but Kim will come with him just to like, you're not sleeping with anyone else. You know that. I'm coming with you.
No, sometimes I have to force myself to be like it's like, okay, don't be insecure about this. Like there's nothing wrong with that. But of course, like in all relationships, like the beginning of my relationship, we had infidelity. We did like shit. So it's just like, okay, you always in the back of your head, like, okay, what if something happens? Well, you have to just kind of like get over that. It's just like, oh, well, I'm with this person. I'm married to this person. I do trust this person. Don't feel like telling yourself not to feel like that, not to be weird, not to try and make all these unrealistic rules on your partner, you know, and just I mean, like, I'm very honest, so I'll be like, if you do this, I'm going to be upset, you know? But at the end of the day, if they do it, yeah, I might be upset, but that's just their life too. It's like, you know, we're together, we're one. We have to understand that we grow in different ways. And like, maybe one time we might fuck up. Maybe one time we can't be perfect all the time, you know? So it's just like you said, if you're going to work on it or if you're not, like, when you sign up for it, did you sign up to do it half-assed or did you sign up to do it for real? Like, just everything in life, I feel like, is like that.
That's taking each other, and you two support each other so much. Like, following both of you on Instagram, like you two support each other a lot, and it's really nice to see, right?
Yeah, I love that. I just love that he knows that I care about what he has passion for, and I want him to only do the things that make him happy. Like, I would never want my partner to be like doing something that is just makes them feel like shit, makes them tired and annoyed and like not happy. It's like, oh, my husband has like some great goals. Like, he wants to go to the Olympic trials when they come to LA. Like, and he's like, in my brain, it's like, why not? Like, of course you are. Like, go run 100 something miles a week. Like,
for what is he gonna try out in?
The marathon.
Holy shit, good for him. Holy yeah.
Yeah, like he runs like this week he's trying to hit like over 100 miles like in 1 week.
But how's he? Holy crap! But wait, he has a kid, he has a wife, he has a career. How does he find time?
Yeah, he wakes up before any of us wake up at like 4:30, and then he gets out the door and he goes and runs, and he's back before we have to take our oldest to school.
Whoa, this is insane. Also, I'll add on sex, being good at cardio, heart health, and penis health are the same thing, aren't they?
Yeah, I think so. And it's like, that's another thing, is like sometimes you have to take into account like how hard have they been working out? Like, do they have energy for this right now? You know, like, if I'm cutting weight, do I want to be like all, you know, crazy right now because I'm fucking hungry?
Yeah.
You know? And it's like, okay, like all those things, like, and that's what's so cool too, is because like he was an athlete like his whole life. He went to cross country in college. Like, I got redshirted for wrestling, so it's like I competed all through high school, varsity track, softball, you know, wrestling. I did all that shit. Came to college. I even I joined the cheer team when I was in college, my second semester too. So I was going to be doing dual sports, and it was just like that. Someone who understands that's crazy, because it's like, okay, you want to fight, you have to have a goal, you have to be very strict on yourself, you have to make it happen, and it's all on you to make it happen. Like, because at the end of the day, somebody's telling you what to do, but you have to do it. So it's just like everything like that we have is like complementary. He understands that I have to do this and I overwork myself. That's the balance. He tells me like, dude, you need to chill out. But like, no, I like, the month of my fight when I was living in Colorado, I had 2 feature appearances that I had to do. So I had to go to Philadelphia. I had to go to San Diego. And then it's just like, go to Florida for fight week. It's like, I do that because it's like, no, like, I like money. I'm building wealth for my family. I'm going to retire before a lot of people retire. Like, I'm, you know, filling up my retirement, filling up his retirement. We're just focused, you know? So it's just like, to have the support where I can go do a sport, I can go shoot my content, he can go do his race over here, he can come here, record and make music videos, and like, you know, I can style the music videos, I can find the photographers, the videographers, style his photo shoots, you know, get girls to be in the videos and all types of shit, you know? It's just like, we are such a good team.
Look at you two. This is awesome. But now, speaking of OnlyFans, this is a very good time to be in the adult film industry because you don't have to work with any weird websites or weird agents or weird man.
I mean,
anyone with a
like, you still have to do stuff that's weird to get viral. You know what I mean? Like, you can start at OnlyFans, but in order to make money, you have to have fans. So you need to have some kind of like notoriety. That's why working for mainstream companies to help build your name is good. You know, but once you have fans, then OnlyFans and stuff like that, it's crazy. Like, it's endless amounts of money that you can make. So Like there's girls who have gotten famous off of just doing TikTok and stuff like that. But eventually they all work for Brazzers and Vixen and all those people too, because they want to be considered a porn star, not just like an e-girl.
Sure.
So it all kind of like blends together. But yeah, now is a great time to be a sex worker in general because people are paying. They want it. People are particular. Like, I even have an AI chatbot now. So it's just like...
I saw that. Yeah, this is interesting. What is that about?
So it's through Ava AI. It is a crazy, beautiful experience that people can have and talk about anything. Like, just companionship online. So eventually it's going to be so advanced. Like you've seen the pictures it generates. Yeah. It looks real. It's going to be able to generate like a video within 4 to 5 seconds of like whatever you want of me doing it. You know what I mean? So
this is insane. Like, did they take shots or how did this come
about?
Yeah,
so they uploaded I gave them like over 1,000 pieces of like content to like put into a brain and then like make me. So now it like took my voice and like can sound like me and like all types of stuff. It's crazy.
The future is just... That's amazing. Like no longer are you like having to answer requests or take 1 or 2 photos here. There's an AI for that. That's so cool.
And that will be it. That will continue to make money for my family forever and ever and ever and ever and ever until AI disappears. And I think it will only advance. So say for instance, if something down the line, there's like a chance to make an AI robot of me, that can potentially make my family money forever and ever and ever, depending on how many times people want to buy the software, how many people times want to buy the robot, or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, or wherever it goes. What if humans just disappear and we're all just like in computers?
The only humanity is wiped out. The only thing left is Leah Gotti AIs, and they're everywhere now.
Just kidding. That was a little bit far, but you never know. Is my point.
That's so cool, though. It's something amazing. But you're also working in social media.
Yeah.
How do you? And you're also working in something that's very real. It is reality. Yeah. This is you. How do you actually like draw the line of like, no, phone is down, I'm not in this anymore? Because that's something I really struggle with, right? I'm still answering emails.
I have to force myself to get off. Like I like to watch TikTok too. So I have to like force myself to get off my phone. Like I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna put my phone down now. I'm gonna watch a show. I'm gonna cook dinner. I'm gonna talk, or like I'll be like, no phones right now, to my family because my kids have phones and stuff. So it's like, just no screen time, present time. We do that when we go into places or something like that, making sure that we don't have our phones out unless it's like needed to like look up something, like trying not to talk about certain things in front of my kids to keep that separated. But yeah, having it just like a clear cutoff of like, okay, this is family time and this is work time. And I try to do most of my work like when I'm alone. So like right now I have the whole house to myself, or like tomorrow I'm going to be renting a place because I'm going to go shoot a whole bunch of content and do a live stream and all types of stuff like that. Then next week on Tuesday, my husband's doing a music video. So my daughter will be in school. My youngest will be with me and we'll be there directing his music video, making sure everything goes correctly, picking my other daughter up for school, going back, shooting another video. And, like we have our family, that time that does merge together. Mine, obviously not, unless it's like going to boxing practice or something that's safe for children.
Of course.
I don't know why, but people just automatically assume that like my children who are little babies would know that I'm a porn star and that I'm got banged out before on the internet. Like, what? Like I tell my kids like, yeah, mommy's gonna go shoot a porno today. Like, no, what the fuck? And I never. It's very separate. But yeah, that's how we do. We just keep it like when we can, we're always together. Every race we're together unless we can't fly all to the same place. Like every track meet my husband has, we usually have my daughters in some events. Like my kids run track. Like it's like we all try to do every single thing together. Like I don't even have a nanny. So it's like whenever I need babysitter, I fly his dad or somebody in my family to come watch my kids, or he stays home and I go by myself, or he goes and I stay with the kids. You know what I mean? we just have a balance like that. And that's just kind of how we have to, that's just how we do it. Like, I don't trust a lot of people because of the work that I do. Think, you know, kids are at a vulnerable anyway, so they can't defend themselves. So it's like, you have to really trust whoever you bring around them. Like, I was, the people who took care of me were the people who hurt me. So I know, like, just because they're family, like, that doesn't mean that, oh, we can trust them. You know,
it comes up in everything, sports especially, of like Kayla Harrison. We just had Vinesh Fogart in the Olympics, and she was talking about this too. It's always men in position of power, and it's people you trust. It's always family. It's always your coach, right?
Yeah, or your teacher or some weird shit. And it's like, yeah, that's why you're, as a parent, I'm like, maybe not helicopter. I mean, yeah, helicopterish kind of. Like, I'm going to be the person who's emailing the teacher. I'm coming to the school. I'm going to talk to the kids. Like, I'm going to interfere. I'm going to ask questions. I'm going to talk to my kids about things that, like, the questions that I ask my kids, like, somebody might be like, why did you say that? I'm like, because you need to know. Like, I need to know, did somebody go to the bathroom with you when you went to the bathroom? Did they go in the stall with you? Did they take your pants down from you? Did they wipe you? Like, did they assist you? You know, those things are important for me to know. And, you know, thank God nothing like that's ever happened. But even my daughter was like, well, one time this guy accidentally, her little kindergarten boy, walked into the bathroom because I forgot to lock the door. And I was like, okay, well, that was your fault, but thank you for telling me. You know, he didn't mean anything by it. You were embarrassed. That's normal to feel that way. And I'll talk to the teacher, you know? She's like, okay.
And you're from Texas, so you were like, did you have your gun with you?
Period. And yeah, now I just feel like you always hear something weird happening out of school. So it's just like, I don't put my kids in daycare. They can go to school and they can talk properly and not just like make up things about crazy shit, you know?
Yeah. So this was the interesting thing of when I was talking about the idea for this show, is that I always knew someone's going to tune in to be like, oh, this is going to be some sexy ass talk. And it's going to be you and I talking about mental health and taking care of kids. Like, it was, and I knew it was going to go that way. Cause like, that's the stuff that I really like to talk about, because I feel like so much in this space, we kind of put on a bit or an act about who we are. Like, I think all of us are struggling with mental health. All of us are struggling with scheduling. Like how do you handle day-to-day depression and anxiety? Because I know you had a lot of anxiety.
I let yourself freak the fuck out sometimes. Like, you have to, like, release that. Like, you know, I don't drink alcohol because, like, every time I try to drink alcohol, like, something bad happens. Like, I didn't drink for 3 years, and then I drank again, and then I had a night where I drank too much, and I, like, when I went out with my family and stuff, not like my kids, but my older family, and it's just like, no, this can't happen, and then I didn't drink again, and I tried to drink again. It's like, you have to realize, like, what's okay and, like, what's not okay for you. Because, like, a lot of my friends, like, they can just chill, have some cocktails, vibe out, and, like, that's how they decompress. So for me, I feel like I'm swallowing a lot of shit a lot. So, like, I feel like I'm a bitch a lot. Like, I am. Like, that's just how I am. But I have to have a moment to, like, freak out. I might have to just cry for a second, or I might have to, like, go hit some shit, you know? Those are the types of things that are healthy for me. Like, my husband, he runs. Like, if he's frustrated or something like that, you know, a good workout or a bike ride or something like that, that helps him feel good. Like, he doesn't drink either, you know? So it's just like trying to find healthy habits to balance how you're feeling, so that way you can handle all that shit. Because sometimes I get overwhelmed and I'm like, I have to just have a second where I just, like, tell my man, like, I'm not okay. Like, I don't know if I can do this. And he's going to step in and reassure me, like, no, like, you can do this. And if you don't want to do this, like, hey, we can just say, we're not going to do this today. And we can tell everybody, like, whatever. Like, one time I had to do that. Like, I had a flight booked to LA, and, like, just mentally I could not. So I didn't go. Like, I had to cancel 3 things and, like, lose money on the flight and, like, all types of shit, the rental car and the hotel. But at the end of the day, I have to be okay in order to do what I need to do. And sometimes, like, you might get distracted and not be checking in with yourself and, like, seeing how you're really feeling, you know? And that's why you have to really be careful, like, and have something that you can, like, just, okay, what am I feeling like? Why am I feeling like this? Is there anything I can do to make myself feel better? Do I need to eliminate anything off my plate right now? Because, like, you can blow some gaskets.
You need to check in on yourself. It's such an important thing to do. But I feel like drinking also comes from, like, I grew up in a small redneck town as well. There's nothing else to do but drinking.
Exactly. I started drinking when I was like 13 years old. So it's like drinking to me has a lot of like that's like every function. Like I joked to my grandma, I was like, every family event we got hella coolers of beer and rum and like blah blah blah. There's not a cooler of water bottles anywhere.
Yeah.
Like they'll drink from the hose or drink it from the tap, you know? So it's like yeah, that's like the culture. Like even sometimes I'm like, damn, why can't I drink? Like I really want to drink. Like I want to have a beer, I want to have a michelada. And it's like, okay, cool. A couple times I'll only have like 1 or 2 drinks, but then it's just like a certain type of environment will like make me excited, and I like can't calm down. Like I don't have an off switch, you know. It's like, woo, like we're gonna get fucked up, you know, like fuck yeah, let's go. Ride 4-wheelers fucking blacked out. Like that's not safe, but they do it all the time. Like, you know, that's how you grow up. It's like, okay, this is not safe. We shouldn't be driving boats blacked out. We shouldn't be like, you know, just barbecuing all day and having open fires and shit and like.
But there's nothing else to do. In the small we drink at the train tracks or we drink in the woods. What do you want us to do?
Exactly. That is so funny, but it's so true. It's just like, yeah. And that it's like a lot of people in America, like all my friends, like not all of them, but most of my friends, every single day they have a drink. Every single weekend they have a bottle or something, you know, and that's just like so. I think they even said like in Asian culture, like drinking is part of the work environment. Like
certain places
to get like to pitch somebody, like, take them out, get them some drinks, like, you know, like celebrating with drinks, celebrating with alcohol. And I'm like, yeah, that's crazy.
You know what's getting better is, so just before I moved, so I'm in the UK now, but I'm from Canada originally. And before we moved, marijuana was legal across the country. And it was so quickly normalized that like my boss was 63 years old. And she was like, so I'm going to go get high at lunch. And then I'm going to come back and we're going to try to get this done. I'm like, oh, me too. So much better than drinking, to be honest with you.
Yeah, definitely believe that too. Like there's so many natural things that people can use. There's like drinks that are like elixirs and stuff like that that don't have alcohol, that have like medicinal roots and shit that are in it that can make you feel good, make you feel certain feelings. But yeah, I just think that it's just part of like a bigger
I know it's ingrained. It's not going to change in our lifetime. But okay, 2 minutes left here. I'm going to put the links down below for everything going on in your life. But I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much. This was a lovely discussion, by the way. But talk us on out of here. Last word goes to you.
Okay. Yeah. Hopefully I can continue in this world of combat sports wherever it can take me. I don't think a lot of people knew this, but before I started boxing, I actually was playing football for like the Denver Rush. It's like I quit because I got into a fight with their coach because he's a piece of shit. I don't think he's there anymore. But anyways, I love challenges. I love sports. I love outdoors and anything and everything like that. So like I have a Gotti Gone Wild show that's about to come out. It's like an outdoor show. I love stuff like that. So maybe one day I'll be all naked and afraid. Who knows? But I'm going to continue to just make my body and my physique like the best it can be, and like just the best athlete. And hopefully you'll see me again.
Thank you so much.